¿Me escuchan?
Sí. Sí.
Ok. Igual necesito que me prendan sus cámaras, por favor. Nada más en este ratito. Nada más que me confirmen que ya se está grabando la sesión y comenzamos. Okay, we're going to start. Good afternoon, girls. I hope you have today's theme is going to be another tense that we use in English. But first, I would want to do an activity for you to relax, um, to stop thinking about what you're thinking, to go with everything while we see this theme. I think you probably know it already or you dominate this theme. It's called the past perfect. And like I said, we will do first an activity that would be in Spanish and English, because um, it's called, well, I don't know how you call it, but it is that I have to play a song and you have to tell me what's the name of the song or the singer. And if you guess it, I won't ask you something. And if you don't guess it or you're wrong, you will have to answer a question. It's not like a difficult question. It's just to conjugate a verb. Okay? Is there any dots? No? Okay.
No.
Let's continue. So if you can't hear, I'm going to put the song. And if you don't hear it well, you can tell me. Okay? Here's the first one. Wait a minute. I think. So. Creo que no se escucha bien, ¿verdad? Rayos. Bueno, tendremos que omitir esta actividad porque se oye como un sonidito un poco molesto. Ok. Let's see. What's wrong? Okay, Well, we're gonna pass to the next step because I can't reproduce the song. It was to conjugate some verbs. So I will just ask you three how to conjugate a verb, and then we're going to pass to the next activity. Okay? Without the activity I planned to do. Turn off one camera. Okay. Now, who wants to go first? Is there any volunteer?
Me.
Okay, Tanya. How do you conjugate the verb finish in the past and the past participle?
In past is finished, and in past participle is I can't remember.
Very well. Very good. Okay. Now, Miriam, can you tell me how to conjugate in the past and the past participle the verb know? Can you hear me?
Yes, but I don't remember. Is the verb
Okay.
no?
No, I'll write it in the chat.
I knew.
Did you say in the past participle? I didn't hear, sorry.
Knew?
Knew in the past participle?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, it's known. So we just add an N at the end of the verb, at the base verb. And finally, Lucia, can you tell me how to conjugate the verb bring? Bring. I'll write it in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the past. From Bran.
Brought. And the past participle is this. It's the same, right? Okay. Now I'm gonna send a document, a Word document, to Lucia, and you're gonna share it with your classmates. I want you guys to fill in the blanks. Okay. Where are you? Okay. It's a table, and this table you have to complete it. It's the same to conjugate the verbs in the past and the past participle. Okay? Vale. Just give me a second to send you the document. Verbs to conjugate. There you go, Lucia. Please share with your classmates, and we'll have around 2 to 3 minutes to finish it. So this is the document we are trying to complete. Is anybody almost done?
Not yet.
Okay. We're gonna start, okay, girls? I have Ruleta here, and I think you can see it. In which, if your name comes up, you will have to answer the verb that is missing, or you will help me complete the table, okay? So let's go on. Well, it's me. I'm gonna give you the first verb, okay? Because we were a few, so I included me. If I have the verb in present fall and past, it is I fell. Do you agree? Do we have the same?
Yes.
Okay. And in past participle, we have fallen. We conjugate the verb fall as falling. Now, let's go with another one, which is, I think, feel? Not again. Let's do it again. Really? So Tanya, because he only wants to go with my name. Tanya, can you tell me what verb is conjugated at the class as flew?
It's fly.
Fly, very good. Does everyone agree?
Yes.
And how do we conjugate fly to the past participle? Tanya, was it?
It's flown.
Flown. Flown. Very good. The next one will be, let's see if there's another name. Miriam, can you please tell me how do we conjugate, or what is the verb that is conjugated at the past as helped?
Help.
Help. Very good. And if you see, this is a regular verb, and that's why in the past participle, we have it at the same. Helped. This can be also with some irregular verbs, but it's more common to be in the regular verbs. The next one, I think Lucia is missing. Lucia,
Yes.
which verb is known?
It's now.
No.
No. New.
New. Okay. Going to leave it to vamos a dejar hasta acá esta tablita y vamos a pasar con la presentación. Pero antes yo quisiera que en el chat me dieran sus ideas, como una brainstorm, we call it, una lluvia de ideas, acerca de qué conocimiento tienen ustedes de este tiempo que vamos a ver, que es el past perfect. Entonces, por favor, si participan y todos me comentan, ¿qué saben de ello, de este tema?
¿Lo escribimos en el chat o lo decimos?
Bueno, también si quieren decirlo o lo quieren escribir. ¿No?
Yo recuerdo, bueno, no sé si estoy bien, pero creo que es para acciones que se siguen haciendo. No estoy segura.
Ok, podría ser. Bueno.
Usamos el auxiliar, bueno, el verbo ha.
Ajá. Exacto. Entonces, vamos a pasar a la presentación. Sí, dime, mire.
No, iba a decir lo mismo que se usa en el tiempo pasado, pero antes debió de haber ocurrido una acción, me parece.
Exactamente. Sí. Bueno, entonces pueden ver la presentación, ¿verdad? Esta presentación es acerca del tema, el past perfect. The next slide says, this tense is used to talk about actions or events that happened before another action or event in the past. Justo lo que decía nuestra compañera Miriam, ¿verdad? For example, here we have an example. My mom had baked a cake before the party started. We have here that there are two actions. The first one was my mom baked a cake. And after she baked the cake, then the party started. Okay, so you need to know that these are the two actions, in which one happened first and which one happened before. No, after. So, in this slide, in the next slide, we have the subject, the auxiliary, the short form, and the past participle of some verbs. The subject, as you know, it could be the personal pronouns like I, you, he, she, it, we, it, and they, or it could be a name of a person, it could be an object, it could be an animal or something different, okay? The the thing here with the past perfect is that the auxiliary is conjugated the same for every subject. It doesn't depend if it's plural, if it's singular, if it's an animal. It will be always the same. And in the short form, we have I'd, you'd, he'd, she'd, and the same with the other ones. We just put the apostrophe in the D. And as we have seen, the verbs are conjugated at the past participle. I think I have more regular verbs than irregular. Okay? The next thing. In this tense, we have, as I have said and I mentioned, there are two types of verbs, the regular and the irregular. And the regular, we just know that we just add ed or d in some cases because some verbs end in e. And the irregular verbs are the verbs we are going to use from the third column. I think I sent a PDF to Lucia of some verbs, of a list verb. I have it in physical and you have it in the computer. So we're going to use the column where it says past participle. Okay? That's the thing. Okay. Now, how do we do affirmative sentences? The structure is the next one. It's subject plus auxiliary verb had plus the main verb in past participle and complement. Remember that the complement is optional. And we have the example. They had studied English before they went to London. And here we can know which action went first. The first action that occurred was that they studied English and then they went to London. I need you guys to pay attention because at the end, I will want to have an example and the three types: affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentences. You can use the same sentence that you made and affirmative, then pass it to negative, then pass it to interrogative. Okay? Okay, the next one is there any dots? Everything clear? Okay. The next thing is negative sentences. It's almost the same, but as we know, at most tenses, we just add the word not. In this case, it would be subject plus auxiliary verb had plus noun, the main verb in past participle, and the complement. We will use the same example, which is they had not studied English before they went to London. And here, if we eliminate this word, it would be an affirmative sentences. But if we write the verb not, it would be a negative sentences. Okay? Now, the last one, interrogative sentences. Its structure would be auxiliary verb had. We don't put the subject first. We have the verb had, which is considered the auxiliary of this tense. Then we put the main verb in past participle, and at last the complement. And don't forget the sign question, because most of the students forget it, and then without that, it means it is not a question. Okay, so in this one, we will take the same example, and we have, had they studied English before they went to London? And we can answer yes, they did, or no, they had not, or hadn't, which is written like that, the short form. Now, some uses of this tense is that we use the past perfect to refer to an event that began in the past and before another action or event in the past. Like we said, we can difference between what action happened first and what action happened happened before the first one or after. Examples: I had read the book before I saw the movie. Donna had just left when you called. In the first example, we can see that first he read the book, then he saw the movie, or I saw the movie. Okay. The second use is that the past perfect is used for actions or events that happened before a specific time in the past. For example, I had already woken up when the alarm clock rang at 7 a.m. This means that the alarm hadn't rang and you were already woken up. The third and last use is that it's used for situations that begin in the past and continue to a specific point in the time in the past. For example, she had only owned one car before she bought her new BMW. So she had only one car, and then she changed her car because she bought a BMW. Okay? And the next thing we will consider is the most common expressions that we use, time expressions that we use in this tense, which are after, before, when, by, as soon as, and by the time. And we have more examples. So you have around 2 minutes to do your sentence. You can use the same one for the 3 types of that we saw: affirmative, negative, and interrogative. And then you will share it, or you can type it in the chat if you want. And what else? Yeah, you have 2 minutes to do it. Are we done?
Almost.
Almost. Okay. Start sharing your examples, your sentences in the chat, please.
I think I wrote two in negative.
Okay, let me see. Yep, we use the time expression never to do negative sentences. They are right. You wrote them well, and can you make a affirmative sentence, please? Or you can just take the first sentence and put Hector had played tennis before last year, and that's all. Just erase never. Very good. We are running out of time, and I think we will leave it till here. I just want you girls to stay 5 more minutes, please. And let me tell my classmate to stop recording. Okay. Bueno, chicas, creo que nos tomó más tiempo de lo que esperaba. Permítanme. La verdad, me puse más nerviosa de lo que esperaba. No sé si lo notaron.